And I think for now, for starters, what I want to focus on for you is consistency.
Right.
And so we're going to be changing that mindset because not only are you sacrificing health points, but you're probably sacrificing some units, right? Because you're playing really bad units on the field. So maybe you're not picking up like the most ideal units to keep your life healthy, is my guess.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So I'll quickly just touch on the losing first for the first carousel and then econing to 8 and how you're saying you're econing better than everyone else.
Right.
So I think first what I'll say is the first carousel, how you said you're normally at 85 HP. So you are sacrificing a bit of life, right?
Right. Right.
You could be though at say 95 HP or even 100 HP, and 10 HP and plus can make the difference of lasting an extra turn, going an extra round.
Absolutely.
And I think for now, for starters, what I want to focus on for you is consistency.
Right.
And so we're going to be changing that mindset because not only are you sacrificing health points, but you're probably sacrificing some units, right? Because you're playing really bad units on the field. So maybe you're not picking up like the most ideal units to keep your life healthy, is my guess.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll grab the units, but I'll keep them on the bench. And this might be another thing that I'm weaker at. I typically won't pick up too many units that I don't intend to keep into the
Gotcha.
late game, rather
Gotcha.
than some of the knights.
So that's I guess we'll talk a little bit about some transitional units and what's good to hold up because usually investing like 1 gold of economy, let's say like you could have made 20 gold, but we're going to be holding on to a unit to drop down to say 17, 16 gold. Most of the time will be worth it just because of what that unit can give you.
Sure.
Um, and next about the, your how you said your economy is better than everyone else and getting to level 8 um, and then going from there. The thing about that one is it requires a lot of practice
Right.
because once you're getting to level 8, you're probably not at a decent enough health. And then the transitions have to be really, really quick. And if you don't get the units that you're looking for, you have to pick up different units and just go on the fly so that you can
Yeah.
put in something where you're not dropping down even lower.
Right.
So
Right.
again, I'm going to lean a little bit away from that from now until you get more and more comfortable with the transitions.
Okay.
So I think what I'm going to start with is like a blueprint that I want you to follow for now until you
Okay.
become more and more comfortable.
Okay.
So first, I want you to have, I guess if you want to write this stuff down or a
Okay.
piece of paper or keep it in mind, up to you. Your call. How you
Yeah.
want to.
Just could you give me 1 second?
Yeah, no problem. Okay. So first, I always want you to have 10 gold on 2-3. So that's going to be the round before the carousel.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so as a sort of a far-sighted goal, I shoot for 20 at 2-3.
Okay, so you might be sacrificing too many units for that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
minimum 10. For now, we'll say minimum 10.
Okay.
On 2-4, you're going to level to 5 while
Okay.
trying to keep 10 gold of interest. So leveling to 5 and keeping 10 gold.
Okay.
And on 3-2, we're leveling to 6.
Okay.
So for now, we're going to follow that blueprint until you start, becoming more and more comfortable and consistent in your gameplay. Next, let's talk a little bit about the very first carousel, and then I think we're ready to hop into a game. Item priority, for you, what would you say it is right now? If you can't get that BF sword, what's next?
So then I'll go for a bow because I'm always trying to make. I pretty much always go either Jinx or Kaisa carry.
Right. That's actually a really good point you bring up, because let's talk about uh, some comps, right? If you're only using the Jinx Kaisa carry, maybe you won't get it every game. So let's talk about 3 that you can use, 3 builds. One is the Jinx Kaisa, right? I'm guessing you use it with brawlers?
I either use it with brawlers, or I've been having a lot of success running Knight Phantom.
Yes, so that's the other variation, right? And you add in Hextech at 8?
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect. So I love both of those variations, the Brawler Jinx variation or the Knight Phantom Hextech variation. Second build I want you to have in mind is the 4 Knight, you know the one. 4 Knight, 2 Guardian, 2 Dragon, 3 Stork.
Yeah, I've never successfully made that build.
So maybe we'll talk about that, because that one is literally just about transitions. We can't put in basically like you hear like Guardian Dragon, so you start picking up Braum Shyvana, but Braum does nothing for us, and
right.
So we actually have to use different units until we get like the strong Guardians, Leona, Pan,
Right.
Aurelion Soul, yeah.
Right.
So that one is a little bit tricky, but again, just keeping that composition in mind. And the last build I want you to keep in mind is 4 Knight 4 Imperial Phantom. And if we're not getting 4 Imperial, then you want to look to go into 6 Knight 2 Imperial.
Yeah, see, I guess, the last 2 you mentioned, I've shied away from because I'm not quite sure what the indicator to me should be that I should go down either of those 2 paths.
If your items are more towards Draven, RFC, Bloodthirster, Infinity Edge, Dragon's Claw Trap are both for Jinx and Draven. But so let's say if you have more of those items rather than Giant Slayer or Rageblade,
Sure.
and if the game is giving you Dravens rather than Jinx.
Okay.
So that way at least you're opening up your options.
Right.
So I think quickly now, just the item priority, I think Recurve Bow is great. So BF Sword, but what I would do after BF Sword is BF Sword Spatula, then Recurve Bow, and then Rod. So you want to look for those 4 items in that order. And on the topic of scouting, a habit that you want to try to get into is when you're doing your moves, right? You're picking the units that are in the shop, putting them on the field, positioning, and then during the last 5 seconds of the countdown, just go through like everyone's board with like tab 1 1 1 1 1, and just quickly go through everyone's board in that last like 5 seconds of the clock, just to kind of get an idea of what comps basically people are playing, what units are they holding on to, and it's not always gonna change what you're doing, but so you have an idea at least.
Yeah.
You're not blind. 2 upgraded knights looks good. So what I would do here quickly before the items is scout to check for assassins.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm kind of.
It's okay. It's okay. And then what you would do is
I position usually something like that here.
that's fine. A little bit of a better one is having 1 knight up front and then just 1 beside the Varus, like to the left of him. But this works. Yeah, this works fine. Basically, you're just trying to prevent your assassins hitting the Varus right now.
Yeah, I guess if I'm being lazy, I'm always, worried about a blitz pulling Varus.
Exactly, but that should also prevent it as well. It should pull the Mordekaiser.
Right.
And
so typically here I would hold out because I guess I
same.
prioritize Giant Slayer.
Same.
Yeah.
I like it. But a good habit to get into there is just picking up those units, right? The Braum,
Yeah.
just in case we can sell them later, but it's just a good habit to get into.
So here I'm probably gonna, I guess either way, sell the Rengar to get to 10.
I like that, but I think I would like holding the Paracassid in here. And I don't mind being below 10 gold for 1 more round. We're probably going to be selling the Rengar next round, Because yeah, the Lucian I like as well. So I definitely want Lucian and the 2 Cassidans.
Okay.
So this is why we always pick up pairs.
Right.
We lost 1 gold of interest, but we made our... We're going to be preserving a lot of health with this upgrade. I would put a knight up front over the Cassidon. I like it. Perfect. But what are you thinking of selling here to get to 10 gold?
I would probably sell the Rengar.
Yeah, that sounds good. And what you can actually do is sell everything, and with the win, we can pick up the Aatrox. Yeah. Now we have potentially 2 demons that we can play.
And now, as far as I don't know these void builds, I don't really.
Do you remember? Do you remember what happens on 2-4?
We go to 5.
Yes. And throwing in the Aatrox. Perfect. And if we win, we can sell the Lucian.
Okay.
So on dead rounds where you're not picking up anything. Yeah, exactly. It's all about just making it a habit, that's all. Because right now, like, you have to think about it, but eventually it becomes something that you'll just be doing.
Yeah.
And if you don't get gold here, what I would say is you're pretty far off from nobles, so I think we can start getting rid of, Fiora and Lucian. So from what you have kind of on the board now, what are you thinking in terms of comps? What are you leaning towards?
Probably. I guess I'd still be thinking some 4 Knights Jinx, but
I think it's going to be some type of 4 Knight variation. Either 4 Knights Jinx, 4 Knights Imperials, 4 Knights Guardians. We'll see. So we can actually use the upgraded Vayne here instead of the Poppy.
Sorry,
Let's talk about the shop. What do you see here?
Well.
Draven. Yeah. So sell the nobles, grab the Draven. Herveris. So, with what we've picked up so far, there's something that's coming to mind. I think the Shyvanas are no longer going to be needed. But what are you thinking with what you have on the board, or with what you have,
Well, I, definitely thinking about the 4 Knights, 4 Imperials at this point.
Yes, and what we're gonna try to do is use Blade Master as a transition because we have the Aatrox, exactly. So if we can get Draven, Aatrox, and like Shen in there with 4 Knights, that can be our level 7, and then use that to get to level 8.
Yeah, see, right now I'd typically be sitting at between like 70
and honestly, just having this high health, even if we don't get the rolls, could get you a top 4, and that's what's gonna get you that consistency and just gaining LP, hitting Diamond, hitting Challenger.
Right.
Perfect. Every single unit is upgraded. This is such a good position to be in right now.
Yeah.
And now, like, you don't have to stress. Exactly. You don't have to stress about, rolling fast. You can take your time. You have a high health pool. The transitions can be, you can take your time with them. So let's level to 7 here. And I would roll down to probably around 30 gold. For now, we're adding in Draven. Nice. Four Knights, great. But yeah, we want to start looking for a third Blade Master and eventually rolling down. But I feel like with your health and the units you have on board, like how do you feel? How does your composition feel right now?
Oh, I mean, it feels pretty strong.
Yeah.
It does feel like I might start losing.
Yes, and I feel like with what you have, if you do lose, you won't be taking big life point hits. So
Right.
this is the perfect time to just econ slowly to 8
Right.
until Raptors. But after Raptors, I want you to go to 8 and you're rolling down. You're looking for Draven upgrade, the Blade Master, Imperials, and Knights. Let's throw the Yasuo in for now. Nice.
Oh, he's next to a Poppy.
It's fine. It's fine.
Um,
So I think we're just making Yasuo a knight. And then we'll take off the Varus. Throw in the Kale instead of the Varus to go 6 knights. Because we know what our comp is going to be. It's going to be 6 knight, 2 Imperial. And 3 Blade Master. So Varus comes out for the Kale. Yeah, perfect. There you go. And now we're sitting pretty until we hit 4 Imperial. That's going to be your strongest transition. But you actually do want to roll for the Draven here.
right.
It's a really powerful upgrade for us. Don't worry about saving your gold. Getting the Draven upgrade is really important. So you have pairs Sejuani, so I would roll for Sejuani here as well. We want to try and confirm top 4 here. We're not going to get greedy for level 9. But did you see how much of a difference it makes?
Oh yeah, for sure.
The life points. Like if the same thing were to happen, putting in that exact same comp, but we didn't have that high of a health pool, we probably would not have gotten a top 4 finish. So it kind of basically it allows room for error. Like even if you don't play perfectly, with your transitions, missing units, whatever, you can still get a top 4 finish if your early mid game is strong.
Man, not having the Bloodthirster. Why is he missing?
Did you see that? What? That's a bug. That's actually, you actually lost that last fight because of a bug. Crazy.
Crazy.
I haven't seen that before.